If you're living in the UK and you think applying for a Schengen visa works the same way it would if you were applying from back home, I need to stop you right there, because it genuinely doesn't. And getting this wrong can cost you your entire embassy fee. Here's something that surprises a lot of people, especially those who've lived in the UK for years and have never actually needed to apply for a Schengen visa before, maybe because they previously held a British passport situation that made it unnecessary, or their circumstances have simply changed. The rules for where and how you apply are based on your country of legal residence, not your nationality alone. This means if you're a Gambian national or a Nigerian national, or from any West African country, but you're currently living in the UK on a visa, a BRP, or with settled status, your Schengen application doesn't route back through your home country's usual embassy arrangement at all. It routes through whichever consulate represents your destination country here in the UK, in London specifically, in almost every case. Let's talk about why this trips people up so often. A lot of people ask friends or family back home about the visa process, because that's their natural instinct, right? Ask someone who's been through it. But if that friend or family member applied from within Gambia, or Nigeria, or Ghana, their entire experience, the documents they needed, the embassy they visited, even the general processing time, can be genuinely different from what you'll experience applying from the UK. This isn't a small distinction. It affects almost everything about your application. Your financial documents, for one, look completely different. If you're applying from the UK, you're generally expected to show UK bank statements, UK employment, UK income, not accounts or income from your home country. The visa officer needs to see evidence of your actual current financial situation, wherever you're actually living and earning. Your proof of ties to home also looks different. If you're applying from your home country, showing ties there is relatively straightforward. You live there, you probably work there. But if you're applying from the UK, the visa officer wants reassurance that you're going to return to the UK after your trip, not that you'll return to your country of origin. So the evidence you need to gather is about your UK ties, your employment there, any family there, your accommodation, your ongoing commitments that would reasonably bring you back. Here's something else worth being upfront about, because it's a real, if often unfounded, worry we hear constantly. People ask us whether applying for a Schengen visa could somehow affect their existing UK immigration status. I want to be direct about this. Applying for a completely separate visa to visit another country, through the correct legal process, does not put your UK status at risk. These are two entirely separate legal systems. But I understand why the worry exists, especially if you've worked hard to build a stable life in the UK. It's genuinely reasonable to want reassurance on something this important, rather than just being told not to worry. Let's also talk honestly about something practical: time. If you're working a regular job in the UK, you don't have the same flexibility that someone without full-time employment might have to deal with paperwork during a weekday, to visit a visa application center midweek, or to make multiple trips if something's missing from your first attempt. This isn't a small thing. It's one of the most common practical frustrations we hear about directly. This is genuinely one of the reasons why working with someone who understands the UK resident process specifically matters. Most generic visa advice online, and honestly, a lot of general visa agents, are built around advising people applying from their home country. The rules, the expected documents, even which consulate to contact, can be different enough that generic advice actually leads people astray. Not because the advice is wrong in general, but because it's answering a different question than the one that actually applies to you. I want to leave you with one honest, practical piece of advice, regardless of anything else in this video. Before you book anything, before you gather any documents, confirm you're looking at guidance specifically written for UK residents applying for your specific destination, not general guidance that doesn't account for your actual situation. Let's talk about something else that catches UK-based applicants off guard: appointment availability and timing. Visa application centers in London serving multiple countries can genuinely have longer wait times for available appointment slots than you might expect, sometimes several weeks out, purely due to demand. If you're working around a job with limited flexibility, This means your actual planning window needs to start earlier than you'd assume, factoring in appointment availability as its own separate timeline consideration, not just document preparation time. I also want to address something people don't always think about. Your immigration status itself, whatever it is, whether that's a skilled worker visa, ILR, or something else, sometimes needs to be evidenced as part of your Schengen application too, showing your legal right to actually be resident in the UK in the first place. This is another document requirement that simply doesn't exist for someone applying from their home country, and forgetting it is a genuinely common, avoidable mistake. One more honest thing worth saying directly. We've seen real cases where someone assumed, incorrectly, that because they'd successfully gotten a Schengen visa years earlier from their home country, the process would feel familiar now that they're applying from the UK. It often doesn't feel familiar at all, and that mismatch between expectation and reality is exactly where avoidable mistakes happen. Going in with accurate expectations, specific to your actual current situation, makes a genuine difference. If you're based in the UK and you're not sure your process is set up correctly, this is exactly the situation our free readiness check is built for. It takes into account exactly where you're actually applying from. Links below.